Capacitor for HVAC or heating and air conditioning for primarily residential homes. Question: are two capacitors better than one? And let me rephrase that again. Are two capacitors better than one? So one may ask, what does this mean? Simply, this means when one has a capacitor with their heating and air conditioning, say if it's a dual run capacitor, one part of that, I shouldn't say one half, let me correct myself, one part of it controls the fan motor, one part may control the compressor. If it's a dual run capacitor that looks similar to this, it's kind of along the size of a miniature soda can or something. So question being now, okay, why would one need an extra? Well, the temperatures get hot, you move into the holidays, and for all intents and purposes, capacitors may go bad, especially in the summer months. However, they may go bad at any time of year. So if we look at the capacitor and then we look here and say this one is a 35.5. If we see the 35.5, the 35 would control the compressor, the 5 would control the fan motor, microfarads. Okay, once we know what size we need, okay, and let's just hypothetically say, okay, we're not sure what size we need. Well, what in that case, often there's a sticker on the unit, maybe outside or at the condenser or package unit, and you can take that model number and serial number and reference it and find out what the specs are and what your particular unit calls for. So let's say if it's a 45 or a 35, in this case it's a 35.5. So now if you go by the HVAC supply house or whatnot, it may not be a bad idea to go ahead and buy an extra one of these. They're not very expensive, so in the range of $20 to $30, maybe somewhere plus or minus, I'm not certain, but with inflation I'm sure that can get higher very quickly. So if you had another one and had it around your tool area, whether that be in the garage or wherever you keep it, try to keep it out of the sunlight where it doesn't get direct heat, in my opinion. But then if you keep this and you say, for instance, if you come out and your unit's going humming and the fan's not coming on or the compressor's not coming on, then as opposed to having to scramble and try to find out what to do, how to diagnose it or whatnot, this is a very simple fix, and oftentimes it may be the capacitor. Now, if it's anything more than the capacitor, you're going to need an HVAC tech, in my opinion, unless you're very skilled with wiring and schematic diagrams and have a lot of patience and be able to get outside in inclement weather or get into the attic, and the attics can be hot, and my opinion is so you just but notwithstanding, just match it up, whatever microfarad your capacitor is. If you can't find it, try to find your model number and your serial number. When you find the model number and serial number, do some research through the internet perhaps, or wherever, or supply house, and then at this point, when you're there, go ahead and buy you an extra. So you have two. You have one in the unit that may be working now, and then you would have another one. So if this one in the unit goes bad, you would have a second one and you would have access to it. So hypothetically, if it's 101 degrees and it's 4th of July and all the supply houses are open, are closed, perhaps, and then at this point you may want some air conditioning. So you could, if this is the problem, you could just switch it out and rectify it. But be sure that the numbers the numbers match up with whatever your unit calls. This is very important. Cannot overstress this. This is a 35.5, so this would need to be replaced with a 35.5. So if yours is a 45, it would need to be a 45 or a 45.5 or a 40 7.5. So you need to match it up according to the microfarads of what your capacitor calls for your particular unit. But so 2 capacitors may be better than 1. You may not use 2, but you would have an extra if need be to get you rolling. And incidentally, FYI, capacitor changeout's not a bad routine maintenance. And some people say, well, I don't want to change anything, but every couple years it may not be bad just to switch this out and still have another one, because if you switch it out, then because these things get deformed, they get heat, sometimes they buckle up on top, etc. So just be sure that if you're well prepared, then at this juncture you could save yourself a lot of headaches. It may only take you a few minutes, or you can get somebody that's well versed in HVAC to help you out, and at this point this could alleviate some headaches, problems, etc. So are 2 capacitors better than 1? Thank you for watching.